The first two episodes are about the CXOs or the top level executives and their introspection concepts. In any given organization or a business, you will have three levels of people. The first level of people are the people who decide the roadmap or who think or innovatively for the business or the organization. Or maybe these people are the people who drive the business with thoughts or ideas or ideology of the business. And there are other end of the line, the people who are at the front force workers, or we call them as front force or front line managers, who are actually executing the idea of the business decided by these CXOs or top level executives. Between these two entities, you all know that there are a bridge of people who are designated as either manager or managers or directors of whatever it is. This episode, I'm trying to throw some light for the value system of the individuals aligning to the organization or to the system. Every individual will have their own ideologies or they'll have their own value system. But while they're working for an organization, they have to be a collective entity and they have to have, keeping their values, personal value system separate, they should be having a collective value system. For that, they have to motivate themselves or they have to find a reason how to motivate themselves, or they have to find a way what can they do to motivate themselves to the collective value system that they should be having it while they are in the system or the organization or in any business. My first point for these particular kind of managers, or we call them as any level of managers or directors or whatever it is. My point for the motivation towards getting a value system of their own selves to the organization level is, ask yourself what motivates you most in the role that you are acting as a manager or a kind of a person who is leading something, and how is that influencing your leadership qualities? If you don't know that, the people who are actually executing it might not get support from you. Your personal agenda or personal value system, everyone have to park it a while, because we are not acting as a personal, but we are acting as a collective entity, although we are individuals. So you have to work collectively, think that as a collective response of a group of members, we call it as a group of team. You being a face of that particular team and you are a manager, how are you going to influence yourself or influence your leadership towards it? That's the first thing. Second thing is, what values are most important to you as a leader? And how do you embody them within your work or while you're demonstrating it? People always say, do this. There is a difference between do this and this is how we do it. The big difference between this, I'm sure you all know. There's a difference between a leader and a manager. I'm not going to there. But my intention here is what values that you're demonstrating in your work so that your team identifies them rather you tell them. Now the point is, from the value system that you have it from the organization point of view, and you also have your personal value system, how are you going to align your personal values with the goals of your organization, with the goals of your system that you're working with? A personal example I wanted to bring your attention so that you understand. As an individual, I have my own value system. For example, I don't drink alcohol, but if I'm in the system, and if I have to have a system where I go and meet the customers, when I be there with the customer and when I socialize that with the customers, if they are collectively drinking alcohol, I should not be an odd person out staying there without drinking anything. So I must have a value system, but the value system is stopping me with getting involved with my customers. So what would I do is ask yourself, maybe I might take a drink which is non-alcoholic, but I still dwell with that. So I'm still in that system. So understand your personal value system and how is it going to align to the value system of your organization. This is an example for most of the people who are in the sales team. Sales people always say, I drink just because I have to drink it along with the customer. Customer is drinking, I have to take him out, I have to make him drink. So while he is drinking, I also have to drink. This is an excuse for all the people who generally drink it, but I'm keeping that aside. That's a different concept altogether. But I'm saying, have your value system, but alignment with your organization value system is also important, and understand how it's getting aligned to that particular level. Now, my fourth point is about inspiration, or how do you drive that particular inspiration? How do you take that particular inspiration, or who inspires you to lead a team? And how do you share that inspiration with your team? You definitely have inspired by somebody, but how do you get that inspiration shared to your team members? Think like that. If you don't share it, then you're doing injustice of the learning that you have acquired by that inspiration. My fifth and the last point for this episode is, in what ways that you celebrate or reorganize the value system within your own team. In the point of agility, they generally call it as retrospective, but during the retrospective, you do a lot of stuff. You also have to do, first thing is, you have to clap yourself saying, what have you done good about it? So, my fifth point in this episode is about the celebration of your value system and your recognition of your value system. Not just yours, but if you find somebody in your team member having a value system, and you have to identify that value system and then inspire by that and recognize that particular value system, give the credit back to them. So if you identify these particular 5 points, probably you're doing a good thing to motivate yourself with the value system. Although you have your personal value system and organization value system, you both align together. Let me know what you think about my 5 points for the motivation towards a value system.